Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit you all and then. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icelandale, head out to Chull or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit you all and then. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Oh, hey, that's my cue. Welcome to Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. I'm the Gaarawarr in that, as I'm trying to click all the things. Hey, there's a tweet about the show right now. Yeah, we're here today to talk about all of the champions that arrived in 2022 so far. Well, in the first quarter of 2022, so January, February, and March. Which my very not completely yet awake brain thinks are these 5 on the screen right now. Should be it. Should be it. If not, I'll add anybody I missed to the 2022 Champions Part 2. But this should be it. This should be it, folks. So I have Jordan with me today in the Mod Pod. Jordan's going to be pulling your questions from chat. So if you have any questions about these 5 champions, you can go ahead and throw them in chat. I will address them, though, in the second half of the show, because the way this show works is I talk for like an hour about the topic, and I don't do questions, and then then we have a short musical interlude, and then I come back, and then I answer any questions that have come up so far, and that anybody then asks. I start with the stuff that's on topic, and then I go from there. So yeah, all right. I am slowly making my way through the Witchlake Carnival. I was like, hey, what? We do a lot of Sword Coast stuff. Let's go to a different location. Let's go to a different location today, and we probably need some more familiars out here. There we go. There. This'll let us kill all the things real quickly. All right. So I'm just gonna my eyes are like bright lights in my face in the morning. Don't like. All right. We're gonna dive right in. Oh, you know what I need to do first, though? I always forget. I need to open up the shop. I need to go to unlock a locked chest, and I need to put the code in 2022 Champions Part 1. 2022 Champions Part 1. There we go. I get my Electrum chest. All right. We're going to start with Rust on the Harbor. Rust on the Harbor joins us from the Oxventures Guild. They're Tabaxi Rogue over in slot 11. They are what is referred to in D&D terms as true neutral. True neutral. So if you were to write it out fully, instead of like lawful good or chaotic evil, it would be neutral. But they just put neutral here. Because when they tried to put true neutral out here once, people were like, what's true? What's the true alignment? So it's neutral. It's neutral. Their basic attack actually changes from stabby to bang bang. So they have a melee attack when they're holding their rapier, and then after they attack with that, then they have a chance to then start shooting people with their pistols. Yeah, because of course. So right off the bat, Rust for Hire ability. Rust increases your gold find by a percentage. So Rust is a support gold find champion. And the Rust is a support gold find champion. And that is just straight up gold find. So that's the good kind. That's the kind that just works all the time and affects this number up here in the top left. That's, this percent gold find. And that goes up with lots of things. Like it's going to go up with ability upgrades. It's going to go up with one of these items. This item right here. So that's nice. 1 gold piece. Rust has this problem where they really don't understand money. So they think that like 1 gold coin is the thing, and like if somebody offers them more than 1 gold coin, they don't understand, apparently. So as long as they have 1 gold piece, they're happy. So Rust has a 2% chance to gain a shiny gold piece from any kill. While holding this gold piece, the effects of Rust for Hire and Highest Bidder, which we'll talk about in a moment, abilities are increased by 1%. Rust has a 3% chance to accidentally lose the gold piece each time he attacks with his rapier. So if we come out here, look, he's got a shiny gold piece. It's that golden donut. Now, if he attacks and he loses it, there, he lost it. He lost it on that last melee attack. Well, now he's got to pick it up again at some point, right? So he's got kind of an RNG mechanic about sometimes his buffs are doing good, and sometimes they're not, and sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. So yeah, maximum rustage is when they have that. Hey, he's got it back. Is when they have the shiny gold piece. So there's a little bit of a swinginess there. Highest Bidder. Rust increases damage of all champions by 1% for each order of magnitude of your gold find percentage. So those of you folks out there who have worked real hard to get like outrageous numbers of gold find in campaigns, Rust likes that. Rust likes you. Rust wants to be in your team. If you're newer, this isn't going to come in as big, right? So if you've been trying Rust and you're a new player and you're like, I've only got like EO8 favor, and well, Rust isn't going to be the biggest buffer for you. Sometimes champions are aimed at, people with more progress. In this case, Rust's Highest Bidder aimed at people with a little more progress. But here's the thing. Rust for Hire is going to give you more gold. So he's trying to help you out. He's trying to help you out there. Yeah. Hello, friends. Rust's chance for the 1 gold piece to find a shiny gold piece from any kill is increased by 100% for each other Oxventures Guild champion in the formation, stacking additively. So, the more of his crew he runs with, the higher the chance that he's going to have that gold piece regularly. So the less swingy he gets, right? All right. Now, specializations can make things quite a bit different, right? Especially shiny increases the bonus ability of 1 gold piece. So, it makes it even swingier, right? Twice as much. So if he's got it, it's doubling the buffs. Yeah. Close friends. The ability bonus of 1 gold piece is increased by 100% for each other Oxventures Guild champion within 2 slots, stacking multiplicatively. So again, run him with his crew. He's going to be good to you, right? For this one. However, this is the nice one. This is the one I like. Rust Reloaded. Rust now only attacks with his pistols and can only lose his 1 gold piece during his ultimate attack. I like Rust Reloaded. Rust Reloaded gets rid of the swingy nature of Rust. He keeps his gold piece, and he just has all the highest numbers all the time. Unless you use his ultimate. Right? So I tend to go Rust Reloaded. Because now, no matter what, he's going to keep that shiny gold piece. This is also great if you're going to use Rust, just jumping ahead here. If you're going to use Rust in an Azaka farm, you want to set Rust up early. Meaning you want to get him into Rust Reloaded, and pick him up that gold piece. Because remember, once you set up that single enemy in your Azaka farm, well, you're not killing anything again, and he can't pick that gold piece up. So get him the gold piece early, get him in the Rust Reloaded spec, and profit. And profit, because as you can see, as I've leveled him up, he's got a pretty solid gold find boost for you. So he can definitely be somebody that you might look to include in an Azaka formation. Cannonball is the ultimate. Here we go. As you can see, it's a tabaxi loaded into a cannon, which I love. Russ loads himself into a cannon and fires himself towards the enemies, dealing damage in a large area upon landing. When using his ultimate, Rust has a 40% chance of dropping a shiny gold piece midway through flight. I mean, that makes sense. If I got shot out of a cannon, I'd probably drop things midway through flight too. This chance is reduced by 2.5% for every 4.5 seconds of ultimate cooldown reduction he has. Well, so how many seconds of ultimate cooldown reduction? I've got like 93 seconds, so it's reduced quite a bit. It's reduced quite a bit for me. What's that going to be? Like 20... hold on. Should be reduced by like 50%. So it should only be like a 20% chance, I think, with that kind of cooldown reduction. I'm not even capped yet. I'm not even close to capped. So you can get it to the point where this isn't even going to drop it that often. Let's fire him off from his cannon, folks. Look, the cannon comes out and it fires. Oh, it's so great. I love it so much. I love that they didn't just have him go off screen and then fly through the air as, you know, with the cannon off screen. They actually rolled the cannon out. Well done. Well done. All right. Let's turn progress back on. Okay, item-wise, damage all champions items. What? That's it? Well, here's the thing. Rust has a lot of ability items, and they went all in on that instead. So the 1 gold piece ability, Rust for hire, highest bidder. So here's the damage boost, here's the gold boost, and here's the thing that boosts both of those. That's fantastic, right? They didn't have to give us this. They could have just given us another damage all champions, but they're not. Let's boost all of his abilities, then let's boost each one individually. Yeah, all right. All right. He got ultimate attack damage, and he has his the ultimate reduction item, as we just saw. And that actually, this is one of those ones where you actually kind of want this, right? You actually kind of want that. All right, feat-wise, damage all champions, a pair of them. He's got a gold piece. He's got Rust for hire, a pair of those. He's got close friends. He's got highest bidder. So he does have an array of feats for your perusal and enjoyment. And you can always check under formation buffs to see what's going on completely. So Rust for hire, 1 gold piece. You can see it's active. He has it. So if you didn't know that this icon means he has his gold piece, it's telling you over here too. It'll tell you highest bidder. Like here's in the Witchlight Carnival, I have I have E38 gold, E38 favor, or in this run I have E38 gold find. So I'm running a total bonus of E07, right? So you can check exactly what those numbers are, and you can compare between campaigns. So yeah, in the 30s you're getting an E07 buff. That's not shabby. Not shabby. If we had some Oxventurers Guild members in here, you would see this go up. Yeah. Yep. Pretty good messaging overall. All right. let's talk about Vi. Vi joins us from Acquisitions Incorporated. Vi is generally an NPC played by the DM Jeremy Crawford, but also was a player character played by Jeremy Crawford in one of the Idle Champions Presents games recently. But generally associated with Acquisitions Incorporated. Vi has a changing relationship to basic attacks. Right now, Vi's super bored. Because there just aren't enough enemies on the screen for Vi to care. If we take people out, and we let some enemies build up, Vi will have a better relationship with basic attacks. Should probably have at least a... Well, no, we're just gonna let it... We're gonna let her get overwhelmed because we need to show off the basic attack. Come on. Give me my... It's gonna take... There we go. Pistol! Vi shoots the closest enemy with her pistol. And then gets real mad that we've left her all alone here. Here, let's... Cannonball! It gets me every time. Alright, let's get everybody back out here. Alright, so, basically, if you don't have a bunch of enemies on the screen, Vi doesn't care. Vi's like, I'm gonna watch my soaps. This is like a, I don't know, like a hologram emitter. I don't know. I'm gonna watch my shows. Vi's first ability, a good example. Vi is a gnome artificer. Support gold speed. Good example, neutral on the good-evil axis champions. Damage is increased by 100% for each good champion adjacent to the neutral champion, stacking multiplicatively. That's a lot, folks. Basically, if you're looking at those neutral champions, and they're your DPS, Vi wants you to have a neutral on the good-evil axis DPS, and then you surround them by good champions, they're going to do more damage. So, we're getting very specific about what kind of formation Vi wants, and how Vi is going to buff in it, right? Catch and release. Instead of a base attack with her pistol, there's a 10% chance Vi takes out her comically oversized blunderbuss and fires at a random normal enemy. So this means not bosses. This instantaneously transforms the enemy into a small glowing crystal sphere that is worth additional gold when defeated. Yeah, we're probably not going to see this until we get a little further. Where we're not just wrecking everything on the screen. But basically it's going to shoot out... we need to get further. We'll show it a little later in the show. I'm sure we'll get there. It's a tiny little bluish, silvery, white crystal sphere. And when it drops, it just sits. If it fits, it sits. It just sits on the screen. It just sits there. Wherever it dropped, it sits. It doesn't... Well, you know what? Here, we'll do this. We'll see if maybe we can get one. Maybe we can get one to show. Probably not, though. Probably not. But yeah, it's just going to sit on the screen, and everything else is going to move past it. It can be moved around on the screen with any effects that move enemies. So like Ashara's knockback effect will push it all the way over to the side of the screen. Magnet effects that like a couple champions have will move it up into this range. If Lazaps was in and targeted it, she would pull it right up in front of the formation. Yeah. So in general, you're gonna see it in that regard. Hey, we made it through the level. All right. So we'll once we get a little further, we'll see that, I'm sure. I'm too old for this. Vi gains sass. An amount of sass. If there are only 5 or fewer enemies on the screen, Vi waits impatiently instead of her base attack. So there you go. If I hadn't leveled her up past this, we would have seen her base attack. I always forget that. And the delay between monsters spawning in a wave is reduced depending on her SAS amount for the duration of her base attack cooldown. What does that mean? We have a lot of speed effects in the game. A lot of people got confused with Vi, and they thought that Vi was doing the same thing that like Deacon, Whittle, and Melf do. Deacon, Whittle, and Melf speed up the rate at which enemies walk from this very side portion of the screen where my cursor is disappearing to where they start taking damage on the screen. That is not what Vi does. So we just saw this giant frog wave spawn, and now it's taking a while, and now there's another wave spawning. And now it's taking a while, and now there's another wave spawning. Vi reduces the time between those waves. Vi reduces the time between those waves. That is a vastly different speed effect. Now, that may not be something you're looking for in all scenarios, or even in any scenario. Hey, there's a crystal sphere. It's a tiny little blue sphere. It's right there. See it? See it? There it is. It's right there. It's called a construct at this point. So, hey, we made one appear, folks. And see how it just sits there. It doesn't move. So, hey, we made it exist. All right, let me put everybody back in so we don't get overwhelmed again. So, yeah. So Vi shortens the time between these waves. As you can see, now another one spawned. And she's in her speed up mode, so it is now taking less time for enemies to spawn between these waves. Now, this may not be something you're super excited for in a like in a normal gem farming formation, because in a normal gem farming formation, you're killing everything the second it comes onto the screen, and the second a wave dies, a new wave spawns. Like watch, boom, a new wave spawned. Right, so it's not changing a lot there. It is gonna come into effect as you get further along. You're going to flood your screen with enemies faster, so keep that in mind. But it is definitely different from Deacon, Whittle, and Melf. Okay, specializations. She actually has 2 specialization choices, but this is going to be the first one. Bless their hearts. Evil champions also benefit from a good example's damage increase. So, neutral champions were the ones that originally were what she was buffing by surrounding with good champions. But you can choose this, and now your DPS could be evil instead. Her debt to repay Warforged champions also receive a good example's damage increase. So, instead of just neutral, it could be Warforged. Now, I don't know that this is currently a big deal in the game, but maybe it will be in the future. Hold on. I'm getting this backwards. Hold on. Let me go back, folks. No, that's the way it's reading. Okay, we're just going to keep going. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If they change it, it changes. So Warforged champions also receive a good example's damage increase. Both good and Warforged champions are counted when buffing, so they get both. When buffing adjacent neutral on the good evil axis and Warforged champions. So yeah, it's just Warforged counts for everything. Evil is just the one that gets the damage bonus. Okay, got super confused there because these do different things. Nudge in the right direction increases the effect of a good example by 100%. So if you're fine with just your current, hey, neutral DPS buff, you would go here. Second special, was there anything in between those? I can't remember. No. Okay, she gets her ultimate. We'll talk about that in a second. Because it's actually different than any ultimate in the game. That doesn't belong here. Vi's chance of using her special catch and release attack is increased by 100%. So if you want to create crystal spheres, and thus get more extra gold bonus as you get closer to your wall, you want more gold dropping. That doesn't belong here. For bleep's sake, Vi's SAS is increased by 100%. This is her speed effect. So yeah. And now if we look at SAS, see now she's 122 SAS, so it doubled, right? So that time between waves is going to be shorter. Although it sure didn't feel like it there. But hey, that's what we're told. That's what I'm going with. All right. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. Okay. Her ultimate. Arcane Cannon. The first time the ultimate button is hit, a metal cockatrice appears next to her and starts dealing ultimate damage to the closest enemy every second for 30 seconds. The second time the ultimate button is hit, the cockatrice flies to the middle of a swarm of enemies and explodes, dealing 1,000% ultimate damage to all enemies in an area attack. So, for 30 seconds, you can fire this off, and for 30 seconds, it'll do right now whatever damage it states above the cooldown, right? It's saying E68 damage for me. Or also, whichever way you want to put it, when you hit it again, it will jump out and do 1,000% ultimate damage to all enemies in an area attack. So a much more massive burst of damage. Here we go. We're going to hit it. I'm going to turn this off so that we can actually go here. Boom. There's the metal cockatrice. Now look, they gave you a timer. It's ticking down. This is so visually you can take advantage of all of the cockatrice's damage that's going on. But then also when you're ready, like you can use it for as long as you want. 30 seconds of ultimate damage and then go boom. And then it just explodes itself in an AoE on things. Right, so this is different than any other. We don't have any other ultimates like that, where you click to turn it on. It does lots of damage for a while, and then you click it again before a specific time to give it a damage boost. So a unique ultimate for Vi. Lots of interesting features for Vi. Item-wise, damage all champions, and then again it dives right into abilities. So good example, catch and release. And I'm too old for this. So this is the speed ability, this is the gold find ability, and this is the damage boost ability. So you get one of each. You get ultimate damage and ultimate cooldown reduction. Feat-wise, damage all champions, you get your gold stuff, because, again, she's a gold find champion. We get good example, catch and release, and I'm too old for this. And then we get bonuses of these. So if you really wanted to go all in on the crystal spheres, there's a larger version. These were things that arrived in the cash shop, but whenever they do that, they're then for 50,000 gems as well. That's why these are so high. But they're the 80%ers, so that's how you tend to get the epic feats, is 50,000 gems or cash. So yeah, lots of feats, a good arrangement of feats. I don't think I have. This is, wow, I only had her original. This is not how I would want to do this. I would want some speed. And then probably good example by 80%. Yeah, there we go. That's a better setup. All right, there you go. Next up, we're gonna hop back over here and talk about Desmond. Desmond joins us from the Black Dice Society. Desmond was the in Idle Champions Presents as well. Human Ranger, chaotic good. Black Dice Society only currently has Desmond and Tatiana in it, but we'll be adding more in the future. Desmond also changes his basic attack. So crossbow, he shoots the closest enemy with his hand crossbow, knocking them back a bit. Or these two swords. Why is it not? Oh wait, no. Right now he's just in crossbow. Okay. I guess never mind. That's a thing. This one confuses me. He just uses the crossbow for this. Okay. Noble Heart increases the damage of champions adjacent to Desmond by a large percent. So super easy to buff with Desmond. Just put him next to the DPS. With that one. Howl at the Moon. Desmond synergizes with the moon phases. As you can see, he's got this phase of the moon indicator. Like right now, it's a full moon. and it's going to change as time goes by. Reducing the attack cooldown of himself and adjacent champions. Closer to the full moon, the more the cooldown is reduced. At the start of each full moon, Desmond's ultimate cooldown fully resets. Let's go talk about... Oh, he doesn't have his ultimate yet. Never mind. We'll come back and talk about his ultimate. So basically, his attack cooldown bonus for himself and adjacent champions is gonna swing like phases of the moon. So sometimes you're gonna get faster attacks, sometimes you're not. Basically, that's it. It's never gonna slow you down. Devotion in the dark. The dark side of the moon increases the effect of Noble Heart depending on how close the new moon is. So, like over here, you see again. This is basically giving you that same kind of swing, but in reverse for damage. So either he's making you hit harder, or he's making you attack faster. That's what you get. Specialization. Now we can affect some of these things. with his specialization. Did I really? All right. That's real weird, CNE. Okay. Double time. The moon cycle of Howl of the Moon is twice as fast, which also recharges Desmond's ultimate attack more often. So this means that long stretch of swinginess, shorter. So you get the highs more often. You get whatever you're looking for more often in double time. Embrace the Beast, but you still get all of it the same way it normally is. And you get to use his ultimate more often. Which, see any? If he doesn't have his ultimate yet, no one knows if they want to use his ultimate more often. But that's a conversation. Embrace the Beast additively increases the base attack cooldown reduction, so faster attacks. The Desmond's Howl of the Moon provides by a half a second. In addition, the full moon of Howl of the Moon takes 30 seconds, while the new moon and crescent moons only take 10 seconds. So this means you're attacking faster, and you're sitting in that fast attack mode longer, and you're in the slower attack modes for shorter periods of time. So it's more a highly focusing fast attacks with Embrace the Beast. Strength in numbers is the other way around. It's going to give you Devotion and Dark Time, so the damage bonus. It's going to up that 100%, so it's going to double it. And then it does that same 30 seconds, 10 seconds thing. So it means your damage is going to be higher for longer and less for shorter, right? I'm just going to leave it as it is. We're going to go double time. There's his ultimate. I feel like that should come out earlier. All right. Unleash the Beast is the ultimate. Running with the pack. This increases the effect of Noble Heart, that's the damage buff, on lycanthropes, druids, and Black Dice Society champions. So he's looking to be somebody who buffs these types of people. Again, we don't have a lot of Black Dice Society champions yet. So when we do, Desmond will probably see a lot more usage as a buffer. Because right now, lycanthropes... I'm not going to get into the whole conversation about how a lycanthrope, like the word lichen is reference to a wolf. That's a werewolf. We don't have werewolves, but this is referring to anybody that's a shape changer in the game. So like Azaka, who's a were-tiger, would benefit from this. Druids, I think we don't have many druid DPS. We have Grama, and is Yorvin in... Yeah, Barbarian Druid Yorvin. If you want to throw Penelope in and try to make her DPS, go for it. But she's not really. Yeah, so not a lot of focus right now for this. But maybe once we get when we get a Black Dice Society DPS champion. There you go. That's gonna be Desmond's favorite. Lament the Lost. Desmond increases the damage of all champions by 1%, stacking multiplicatively for each slot in the formation that contains a dead champion or is taken up by an escort character or object. Here we go. This is Desmond's jam. This is where Desmond shines. You want to use Desmond in your formation? You break him out when you get those variants where they're like, hey, you've got to escort 3 snotty nobles to a party. And 3 of your champion slots are taken up by nobles, right? That means you're down 3 champions. Well, you put in Desmond, and he gives you a massive buff to make up for that. And it's pretty great. 2 or above tends to make... If you've got 2 or more escorts, Desmond's really doing heavy work. 1 is only the EO4. But remember, this says stacking multiplicatively. Folks, if you don't know yet, multiplicatively stacking buffs, like buffs that take this number and multiply it against itself, those are the kind of OP broken buffs in the game. Lament the Lost. Super strong. The more you have, the bigger he's going to go. Now, this does specifically mean you need dead champions or an escort. So I was talking about escorts, dead champions. We got 2. I mean, yes, of course, the champions could die and you're going to get a... But that's not really what this is about. That last ditch, someone died in your formation and you're getting a bit of a damage boost. It might help you another level or 2. But, dead champions. Spurt has a spirit form that counts as a dead champion. It's his ultimate. Belushi, who's in the formation right now that we haven't talked about yet, Belushi has a spirit form that counts as a dead champion. So this gets multiplied by those as well. So if you get in a situation where you've got like 2 NPCs in your party, and then you throw in like Spurt and Belushi, Desmond's Lament the Lost just goes through the roof. So keep in mind, when you're ever in those situations, Desmond is the choice. Folks. All right. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Ultimate. Unleash the Beast. Desmond transforms into his werewolf form and leaps at the enemy with the most hit points. He swipes with both claws, then bites. So that's 3 attacks, folks. And that's 3 chunks, if possible. If it's segmented. Then returns to the formation and back to human form. Noble Heart gets a 300% increase for 30 seconds. So not only is this, hey, I'm going to turn into a werewolf and go rip someone open. It's also a damage buff button. So you want to do more damage against a boss or something, unleash the beast, right? Here we go. Boom, turns into a werewolf, goes out, rips 3 times and twice and bites, and then he's back in the formation. Yeah, they fooled me with this. I keep thinking anytime they show like swords, I keep thinking, hey, we're gonna get melee attacks out of somebody, but no, it's only over the crossbow. Those sneaky art people. All right. Oh, items. I'm like, I haven't talked about everything yet. Damage all champions. Noble Heart, running with the pack. Lament the Lost. And then ultimate attack damage. Because again, he doesn't need an ultimate attack cooldown item. It's based on the phases of the moon. He's already got his ultimate back because it just returned. Even though it's a 2-minute cooldown normally, he already got it back again. Because once that new moon comes around, he gets it back again. Feat-wise, damage all champions, and then all the things. Desmond gets real crunchy with his feats. Beast Within gives you more attack cooldown reduction, so if you're really just want speed, fast attacks, you get another 0.2 second reduction here. Here's a bonus for Devotion to Dark Times. That's the buff when it's not the full moon, right? Noble Heart, running with the pack, Lament the Lost. So if you're running Desmond with NPCs or dead champions, you want Lament the Lost. Yeah. So he's got a wide array of potential options for you to select from. Let's do Tatiana next. The other Black Dice Society champion. Tatiana's an Air Genasi barbarian druid, but tanking support speed. So remember, Desmond buffs druids. Tatiana counts, but Tatiana's not a DPS, so So who cares? Frankly. Like, that doesn't matter. You want a druid that's a DPS, or a lycanthrope that's a DPS. Yeah, just buffing your support and your tank, like, for damage. No. Nope. Chaotic neutral, 25 overwhelm. So starts off with a solid overwhelm. Base attack is twin kukri strike. Tatiana strikes at the closest enemy with 2 kukri strikes. Faithful Friend is the first ability. Random slot from the middle columns of the formation is chosen. Tatiana increases damage to the champion in that slot by a large number. Here you go. She chose. If we didn't have a champion in that slot, we wouldn't know where it is. But she chose Vi's spot. Now this is the middle column, so it could have been either of these 2 columns here. She chose Vi's spot. She chose Vi. No, well, she just chose that slot. You can put anybody in it. So when you first get it, that's it. That's the only place the buff goes. And if your DPS isn't in that buff, you just don't get the buff. I want to be real clear on that, because we're gonna adjust this momentarily. But when you first put Tatiana in, if your DPS isn't in that light up blue spot, you're not getting a bonus from Tatiana. Yeah, okay. Loyal Protector. This is the health share, so increases all the health of all other champions by a % of her max health. It's 25%. That tends to be the standard. There's only one outlier that I'm aware of, I think. Rising Fury. Every time Tatiana is attacked, she gains 1 Fury stack. Remember, she's a tank. The effect of Faithful Friend is increased by a % for each Fury stack. So basically, the more she gets attacked, the more she's going to buff the party. This stacks additively and then applies multiplicatively, which, I mean, everything. They don't need to put that part in because everything applies multiplicatively. But stacking additively is the normal stacking method. She loses 10% of her Fury stacks every 15 seconds that she's not attacked, and it caps at 150 stacks. So if we had her up here and she was being attacked, you would see this cool little bear indicator start to light up. In fact, let's show that off. So she's gonna start as she takes more damage here. She'll start filling up with Rising Fury. We can see it over here if we want to look. Like right now, it's 3 stacks. Yeah, and you can see it ticking up slowly. Find a Feast. This is her speed effect. If Tatiana is not attacked for 15 seconds and the players are in a non-boss area with no barriers, there's a lot of qualifiers here, she briefly runs ahead off the right side of the screen. She returns 2 seconds later from the right side with more enemies, a certain amount, and that amount can vary, can be affected, that simultaneously spawn. So basically she's creating more enemies spawning. After she returns, the 15 seconds counter starts again from 0 seconds. So it's not just going to go over and over and over and over again. Right? Here, now we've got a little blue. We got some blue ticks on her little wolfy indicator. That's how you know she's raging up. She's raging up. All right, we need to just kill these people off and move on. There we go. It's going to take a little bit. Now, that's an interesting choice. 15 HP. I don't think I've ever seen. Normally bosses are like 25 or 50. 15 was a choice. All right. Rage. When Tatiana reaches 50 plus Fury stacks, so that's a third of the way through her rage meter. And for every 15 seconds she's above 50 Fury stacks, she gets a rage stack. Oh, that's the bear. That's the bear indicator. It's the rage, right? Maybe. Hold on, now I gotta go look again. Nope, I was right the first time. It's the Rising Fury. We just had her run off the screen though. Let's make her do it again before we talk about this. Let's give her 15 seconds again to run off the screen. Because it's neat. This is the only champion that does this so far. that does this so far. And of course, there we go. There she goes. See? She's like, I'll be right back, guys. Oh, and then we The game hates me, folks. So anyway, normally she would run back onto the screen and she'd bring a bunch of enemies with her, but the game hates me. So, Rage. Whenever she's at 50 plus Fury stacks for every 50 seconds she's above, she gets a Rage stack up to 6 stacks. With at least one Rage stack, she rages and her base attack changes. Here we go. She brought more enemies. See them all? There you go. We did it that time. Her base attack changes. For each Rage stack, Faithful Friend gets a 400% bonus, stacking multiplicatively. That's the good kind. If she goes below 50 Fury stacks, she loses all Rage stacks. So she actually shape changes into a more feral form of Tatiana. She barely contains herself. And then she becomes a better buffer. All right. Spec choices. Your friends are my friends. Tatiana's Faithful Friend now affects all champions in slots adjacent to the Faithful Friend slot, and the effect is increased by 100%. So that would mean it would apply here, 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 and here, right? Because those are the slots that are adjacent to this. So this is how you can move a Faithful Friend. If this isn't where you can place your buffer for the best, or for your DPS for the best possible buff scenario, then this allows you to move it. Because where that slot, you don't necessarily just want to build around that. That might not be a good idea. It's going to depend on the scenario you're in, but that might not be a good idea. By my side, Tatiana's Faithful Friend now affects all champions in the column containing the Faithful Friend slot, and the effect is increased by 200%. So this would just light it up just through here. Just in these two spots. But if it had been over here, it would be everywhere along this column, right? So that one can be useful because it jumps gaps too. So I was using it in one of the event formations, in Melf's formation, and he has like a slot up here, but there's a space in between it, and then two more, and it ended up lighting up all the way over here, which was horrible until I remembered, I can do the whole column, and then I got to be able to put my my DPS right down here, right? So it's another way you can shift that around. Now, if it's in a great spot and you're fine with it, then you go Best Friends Forever, and then it just buffs it 400%. Right? So that's the ideal situation, but you're not necessarily always going to get that situation. Sometimes it's better for your buff placements and potentially for blessings that exist in the campaign you're in, for your champion not to be in wherever it ended up in. All right, so keep that in mind. Entangle is the ultimate. Let's get to a new screen and we'll fire it off. A stripe of entangling roots appears to the right of the column. The front column. Dealing damage to all enemies inside it and all enemies that enter it during its duration. Enemies standing in the roots deal 50% less damage. The roots last for 30 seconds. There you go. That's it. That's what it looks like. Now, if these were actually getting there, they'd be taking damage and they would slow down, and then they would do less damage to the tanks. So it's a nice damage bonus. It's also a nice survivability feature. So this is going to, potentially in a pinch, it's going to keep your tanks alive a little longer. I mean, it's only half damage reduction, which isn't huge in a game with large numbers, but it's better than nothing, right? Better than nothing. And I think that's everything for Tatiana. Yeah, we've shown her running off the screen there. She went again. She brought a bunch of things back. What we need to do is, well, when we're further along, we'll show off her. Well, all right, fine. Here, no, we'll do it right now. We're going to let it build up here for a second while I talk about her items. Hopefully it builds up. All right, item-wise, damage all champions item. Health item. It's great for a tank. That's what you want. Faithful Friend, Rising Fury. Muffin Surprise is the epic. I love this the name. This increases the number of enemies spawned by Find a Feast. So that's why mine says 5 to 6. But the higher you get this, the more enemies she's going to drag in. And to my knowledge, there isn't a cap. So want to run off the screen and bring back 50 friends? you could probably get this item to that. Is it worth it? There might be one use case scenario I can think of in the game, and hold on. Is that something? Yeah, no. That's not a scenario I would ever. Unfortunately, she's in the same slot as Human, so I wouldn't do that. But yeah, and then she's got ultimate attack damage. Feat wise, damage all champions, health, and then all of the stuff: Faithful Friend, Rising Fury, Overwhelm because she's a tank. Find a Feast. So again, this increases the number of enemies she brings back, and then Charisma. So this helps her qualify for a patron. So depending on where you want to use Tatiana, she's able to feed up and go lots of places. Now, I do want to point out, there she goes. She transformed right at the last second. There's her transformation. Told you, a bit more feral. Kind of wants to be down on all fours like a bear. To my knowledge, I guess maybe somebody's tested this. I don't know if she can drag more enemies onto the screen than are allowed to be on the screen. There's an enemy cap on the screen of 100. I have not heard if somebody has tested to see if she can pull more enemies beyond that. I have not heard. But ask in the Discord. All right. We've seen that now. Let's go ahead and put people back out here. Desmond. There we go. All right. Now we're going to talk about Belushi the First, technically. Belushi arrived not as an event champion, but as our evergreen for the Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign. That means you can unlock Belushi at any time. Granted, you can beat the variant that she arrives in, called Bully for You. It's fun. I have to say, it's pretty fun. I liked it. I did the base, and I've done all the patron versions, and yeah, it's neat. Belushi the First is a Bullywug Warlock, neutral evil, tanking support with a 5 overwhelm. And right now, if you know anything about tanks, you're going, Gaarawarr, they can't be a tank with a 5 overwhelm. That's silly. You're right. You're right. But she is a tanking support because she starts out as a support. So right now, her overwhelm number is based off her being a support. Right now, she's just a support in our formation. Base attack, Taunting Blast. Belushi attacks with an Eldritch Blast, dealing damage and taunting it, if possible. Now, I don't have her in the tank column, but if I did, and they were surviving, they would start coming to Belushi instead of Tatiana. This is now the second tank we have in the game that has a taunt feature. So we need to talk about that real quick. Taunt features obviously try to pull enemies away from other tanks. This can potentially be a bad situation, because if your other tanks have really solid mechanics based off being hit, they want as many enemies as possible. Now, if you're using maybe a tank that isn't super survivable or doesn't have that mechanic, sure. But just keep that in mind when using Belushi. If you're using Belushi in a multi-tank situation, potentially adverse effects, depending on the other tank you're using. Soul Gatherer, you kind of saw this. If you watch, when we kill something, these weird colored things rush over to Belushi. Those are souls, folks. She's consuming souls. Whenever an evil, it's in the alignment. Whenever an enemy dies, Belushi the First gains 1 soul stack. Boss enemies instead give her 15. Belushi the First increases the damage of champions in the 2 columns behind her by a % for each soul stack, stacking additively. When changing areas, she loses 20% of her soul stacks. So yes, these are stackable. You can farm them, but you're going to lose 20% of them every time you change, so just keep that in mind. That doesn't mean you can't get lots of them. You definitely can. It just means It just means eventually, like, you're going to lose a huge chunk because it's a percentage and not a number. So don't spend forever just trying to do this. But if you have endless spawns of enemies on the screen, she's going to ramp up potentially infinitely in damage. I do want to point something out here, because this bothers me to no end. We'll see if they fixed it between yesterday and today. You can see right here we're counting. There's a max number that's of stacks available. So again, you know, there's a max, so it doesn't do infinitely. My bad. But you can get up to 14, which may as well be infinite. Killing 14,000 things seems like a lot. Soul stacks, you can see the multiplier. Click up. You can see these stacks coming in. If I move Belushi to the back, when we kill stuff, she stops gathering souls. As far as I know, this is a major bug. It also stops counting. Now, you're probably going to go, but it increases the damage of champions in the columns behind her, so she's not buffing. It doesn't matter. She should still be collecting souls, even if she's in the back and she's not. You can just move her up 1 and she'll start collecting souls again. So don't put Belushi in the back column, even when she's in her support mode, is what I'm trying to tell you. Because right now, that kind of breaks Belushi. Right now, that kind of breaks Belushi. So until they fix that, keep her up at least 1 column. Spirit carries on. Well, when Belushi the First dies, she is replaced in the formation with her spirit. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. Come on. We'll talk about it. The spirit continues to attack and can be attacked like normal. While in the spirit form, her health is increased by an amount, and her overwhelm is increased by 20. Each time you defeat an enemy boss, her next of kin returns to the formation. This is a throwback to D&D, where people would make a character. Their character, like Jim, their character would die, and well, I'm coming back as my cousin, and he's the exact same race and class. Because they didn't want to roll a new character, right? So Belushi the First dies, and then when you beat a boss, Belushi the Second arrives in the formation to help out. Do I just have? They're just not. She's not going to die, is she? All right. Well, yeah, she's going to die. We'll kill her off here, hopefully. We'll turn the progress off just to make sure we don't change levels. So she's gonna go from Belushi the First to Spirit Belushi. We should probably get ready to put some people back here. There we go. There's Spirit Belushi. Now we're gonna give her some friends so she doesn't feel all alone in the world. And we can move on. So there's Spirit Belushi. Now this does count as dead for Desmond. If we come over to Desmond, Lament the Lost now has 1 dead champion, and there we go. Now I'm gonna I'm gonna throw in. Wait, am I? Oh no, no, he's right here. Okay, Phew. He's got those witchlight wings on, and I did not recognize him. My bad, Spurt. I'm gonna kill off Spurt here. You dead. Now we've got 2 spirits in the party. It's a dead man's party, folks. Now you can see the number went up. Again, a multiplicative bonus, so we're now up to EO7. We're now up to EO7, 110 EO7 buff from dead champions. So this is a way, again, if you want to run Belushi, Spurt, Desmond, that's a thing. That's a thing. But with NPCs, even much better. Even much better. Okay. Belushi the First. We'll come back when we kill the boss. And we should be Belushi the Second. A life well lived. While Belushi the First is in spirit form, Soul Gatherer's damage boost gets a 10% increase, stacking multiplicatively for each boss level that Belushi had made it through alive during the adventure. You're going to get this carried over here. We've made it through 15. So this would be currently a 3,000 bonus. Yeah, and you'll see overwhelm 25. But yeah, so it's tracking this. So technically, you want Belushi alive through as many bosses as possible. So you wouldn't want to kill her off here like I did. This was just for demonstration purposes. you want her in a support position. So, not in the tank column, maybe one column back for as long as possible. Then switch her into the other. Oh, look, there was a tombstone, and now we've got him back. And guess what? Belushi the Second is now in our formation. This is also how you get Belushi's achievement, folks, for those of you who are wondering. But there you go. That's Belushi. So ideally, we want to run Belushi like here for as much of the run as possible, so she can gather all of the souls, and be alive through all the boss levels and ramp up that bonus as high as possible. Okay, specializations. Boom. Sliced souls, skewered souls, charred souls. We got it all right here at Belushi's Soul Hut. No, I don't think that's a thing. Basically, this doubles the amount of souls you gather based off who's killing them. So sliced is melee, skewered is ranged, charred is magic. So you match this to your DPS. We don't have a DPS in here that really. Not really. I mean, maybe. No, not really. Well, we'll do ranged. We don't really have a DPS in this formation. And then she gets a second upgrade. This one is Resilient Spirit or Wild Spirit. Resilient Spirit means as a tank she takes half damage. That's not bad. Wild Spirit increases soul stacks generated by a grave situation are increased by 33%. I'm going to be honest, Resilient Spirit's kind of the way to go. If you're pushing deep, you're going to get lots of spirit stacks, and you're not going to really need this. You're going to cap it out anyway. But if you're doing a short run, and you just want to get as many souls as possible, you can go Wild Spirit. But generally, if you're pushing really deep, you're going to want Resilient Spirit. So we're going to go that way. All right. Yeah, we talked about that. A grave situation. While Belushi is in spirit form, enemy attacks against her increase her current soul stacks by 1%. So this is why I said it's going to max out real quick once you get to this point. And boss attacks increase her current soul stacks by 15%. And her base soul stack cap is increased to 100,000. Right? It's not. I'm not in spirit form. But if I were, and this is normally 10,000, by the way, I have a feed in that raises it 40%. So technically, with the feed in, you could get to 140,000. And that's really going to ramp up once she becomes Spirit Belushi. Don't croak. I love it. Belushi the Second. Belushi increases the health of all other champions by 25% of her max spirit health. This is the health share. It's 200 levels in after everything else, but again, she's not really that tanky person until she's in spirit form. So, this will do a little bit, but it's not going to do a lot. It's not going to do a lot right off the bat. We'll talk about her ultimate. It is a spirit charge. Where is it? Right here. Bullywug spirits fly in, picking up each enemy and tossing them back 25% of the screen, dealing damage to each of them. Once again, we're going to remove a bunch of things because it's 25% of the screen for each one. So depending on who they pick up, see how it just kind of they pick up each one and then they bounce them each one back 25. It is an individual against each enemy 25% based off where they were, and then they drop them, which does the damage. And in this case, it killed them all off, which was fantastic. Visually, I enjoyed that. I hope you did too. All right, that's Belushi's ultimate. Item-wise, damage all champions, and then we go straight into Soul Gatherer, Spirit Carries On, Life Well Lived. So you get all the great things. So the Soul Gatherer, obviously, this is the effect of the souls. The Spirit Carries On this is the health bonus. So this is her tanking item basically. And then Life Well Lived was the multiplier for each boss level she existed through, right? We get ultimate attack damage and ultimate cooldown. Feat-wise, damage all champions. This is the one, the Destructor is the one that increases the max soul stacks which is super nice if you're doing deep runs. If you're not, this isn't what you want, but keep that in mind. Soul Gather is just a straight ability for that. I'll Be Back is the health. I'll be honest. I'll be back. I'll be honest. 20%. Tanks usually have a 15 and a 30%, so the fact that she gets a 20% and that's it, she's a little squishier of a tank, even in her spirit form. She does get some overwhelm stuff, and a life well lived feat. So you can multiply all the things. It's just she doesn't get the health the way I think we might like her to, but because of the soul stack thing and because of the spirit and the interactions, yeah. She has her place. It's just going to be a little bit of a niche. That is our 5 champions that were released in the first quarter of 2022, folks. So, I know you've been asking some questions. Not a whole lot. Did I just do a good job of explaining things? Folks, we're going to have the majority of an hour to answer questions right after this musical interlude. So if you have questions, throw them in chat. I will be back. I will start with the ones that are on topic. Be back momentarily.
There can be only one, all the world is undone in destruction. No one knows who it serves, what foul purpose confers its instruction. You've no choice when you hear it coming. All you can do to get through is start running. Rise of the Tarrasque. No one dares to ask how you fight it. If you do, you'll end up in a cast. Rise of the Tarrasque. All your fears are masked. Defeat an impossible task. With a swipe of its tail, it will rend your chainmail. It's so tragic. Its unbeatable shell will reflect and repel all your magic. All the legends foretold it lay sleeping, but incur divine wrath, it starts creeping. Rise of the Tarrasque. No one dares to ask how you fight it. If you do, you'll end up in a cast. Rise of the Tarrasque. All your fears are masked. It's defeat an impossible task. Slumbering beneath the ground, sometimes lost, sometimes found. Forever in hunger it's bound, with disaster it's crowned, forcing nature unbound. Rise of the Tarrasque. No one dares to ask how you fight it. If you do, you'll end up in a cask. Rise of the Tarrasque. All your fears are masked. It's defeat an impossible task.
Hey, when the music stops, that's my cue to hit the screen thing. Sometimes I forget. I was frantically scrolling to get to achievements because we forgot to talk about the achievements because they're always really hard to find. Like trying to track down, trying to remember which event all the champions arrived in and get their achievements. But I could have done them pretty easily. I will show you how. It dawned on me after I had opened this up. All of these champions arrived recently, right? So I could have just gone, hey, Festival of Fools, scroll down. Here's Tatiana's. Have Tatiana's Rage active for 3 minutes straight. Well, how do you do that, folks? She's just got to keep being attacked. And you get a nice window. So it's basically just use Tatiana and push deep. And she'll get there. We didn't even push that deep. And we probably could have kept this active. And then if I wanted the next one, let's go to Fleet's Wake. In the mood to be quite rude was Desmond's. Used Desmond's ultimate twice in 30 seconds while he's adjacent to 6 champions. So you just need to be in a formation where you can have 6 champions around him. Sword Coast works. Right in the middle of Sword Coast. Wait till he's almost to his full moon. So there's just a sliver left. Hit his ultimate. At the full moon, he gets his ultimate back. You hit it again. Real straightforward. Grand Revel was Vi. My work here is done. Have Vi's I'm too old for this. Continuously active for 100 areas in a row while a champion is buffed by 6 other champions with a good example. This takes a bit more of a setup, right? This takes a bit more of a setup, but it's not too horrible. It's not too horrible. You can make this work. Again, continuously active for 100 areas. And again, the I'm too old for this one. If you're forgetting, because we've been there, it's the sass. So this is user as a speed champion, but while she's buffing certain champions, right? So yeah, user to do the speed thing, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Okay, let me go back. We had one more. Well, we have 2 more. But one more from the events. My gold piece. My gold piece. Gain back Rust shiny gold piece within 3 seconds of losing it. RNG, folks. It's just RNG. You just got to use him, and eventually it's going to pop. Now, Belushi actually shows up not under events, under the regular champions, because she's an evergreen. Have Belushi the 8th in your formation. So basically, Belushi needs to die repeatedly and come back to life at each boss level enough to get to Belushi the 8th. That's it. I've seen somebody with like Belushi the 32nd, so you know, 8's not going to be that hard. All right, I'm gonna hit up the questions, folks. Jordan has been grabbing them and throwing them in my little document over here. I'm gonna do the stuff that's specific about this. We got 6 questions, folks. I realize it's a holiday weekend. And I appreciate those of you who have decided to show up on Saturday morning, at least where I am, on a holiday weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do if people don't ask questions. Maybe I'll just sit here quietly and work on Belushi's achievement. So if you have questions, fire away about anything in the game, anything to do with Idle Champions. Nathalis, in relation to Belushi choosing sliced, skewered, or charred, isn't magic ranged? It can be, but no. They are in the game specifically. They are different things. When you shoot with a crossbow, it's this. When you shoot with magic, it's this icon. When you hit with melee, it's this icon. Right? They differentiate 3 different types, and what you're doing is choosing which of those types of champion are going to do that. But in D&D, it's not even ranged. Sure, there's a lot of things that are ranged, like a fireball and Eldritch Blast. But there's also things like that are touch-based magical effects, where you actually have to get up and touch somebody, and that's more like a melee. It's a melee. You're making a melee attack when you do that in D&D mechanics, but it has a magical effect. So magic can be a variety of things. And in that regard, they have made it its own separate thing in Idle Champions. Foolish Genius 89. Does Baloth try to stop Belushi dying and turning spirit form, or only when spirit Belushi is going to die? Great question. It's only when spirit Belushi is going to die. In the same way that Baloth doesn't stop a spurt from dying from the ultimate. This is a focused transition period, so it shouldn't stop. We can go take a look, but yeah, it's my understanding, and I think I tested this before, but it's early still for me. Hold on, we'll take all these out, and we will let Belushi get overwhelmed and die. Well, this isn't the level for it. Great. Let's go back a level. We'll kill her off, and you guys can watch. Sir Lunch-a-Lot. Oh, man. What am I doing for lunch? I didn't have breakfast, so I need to eat. Is Vi's crystal similar to Jim's chicken? No. but it's closer to, well, it's not like either of them. It is a transformation, and we're not going to be able to do this, folks. We're killing all the things too easily. It is a transformation. It is a transformation effect in the same sense as those things, but it does not work the same. The chicken, when you chicken with Wand of Wonder, the enemy that turns into the chicken has very little health currently, and instantly dies. The Crystal Sphere is not like that. When Wand of Wonder turns an enemy into a mimic, it's armored and drops more gold when you kill it. It's more akin to that, except again, it's not, because it's not armored. It's not armored, so it could die from a regular attack, but it does drop more gold. Now the difference is when because Azaka is in slot 12, when you swap Azaka in, the Crystal Sphere stays, but no longer has the gold bonus. I don't think that's important. I don't use the Crystal Sphere specifically for the gold bonus. That would be nice. But it's still fine. I'll talk a bit about that in a moment. But yeah, no, it's not really the same as the chicken. It's not really the same as the chicken, or even the mimic. I mean, I guess we could talk. It's not like we have tons of questions. I can talk about the whole. Oh, that's duplicate. There we go. Okay, so when Azaka farming with Vi. Vi is still what I still consider Vi to be an amazing... Oh, hold on. I just realized that my gain turned up real high. There we go. Just a scotch lower. You might have to turn me up if I'm a little too quality. I literally go from 100% to 99%, and it drops like a lot, but it also blows up a lot. I don't want to... I've probably been peaking my mic all day. The reason you want to use Vi, even though the gold bonus doesn't stick around, the reason you want to use Vi for Azaka farming is to separate that single enemy away from the group that you want to kill, so that it's no longer, well, I'm just going to hope and pray that one of them stays alive when I blow up this group of enemies that's on my tank. So what you do is you turn one of them into the Crystal Sphere, and then you use a knockback effect, like Ashara, and it moves the Crystal Sphere all the way back to the right side of the screen, like right where these things are right now. But then everybody else moves forward, and the sphere still stays there, which is exactly what you want. Then the enemies build up. You swap in like Krull, and they plague everything up. Krull plagues everything then, even the stuff on the back. And then you blow up that with an ultimate, like the close, not a screen wide ultimate, but a close-up ultimate. You can blow up that whole group, or you can click kill them, or whatever you're doing with the group that's up front. The plagues will still transfer to the one in the back. The plagues can transfer an entire screen. But you don't risk blowing up the thing at the edge of the screen. So it's a very nice way to ensure that you can continue to like, you can separate out an enemy much easier instead of trying to like when Belushi first introduced us all to Azaka farming, they are the ones that discovered it. The way they said you separate out an enemy was to click slowly on one enemy and try to slow them down on the right side of the screen while everything else got to the front, and then blow them up, right? Well, that doesn't really work anymore. And this makes it a very easy way to do it. So you just swap Vi in, she drops a Crystal Sphere in the back, you move it to the back, and then you swap Azaka in instantly and profit. So Vi is still fantastic for Azaka farming, in my opinion, because you create that separated enemy. But it just depends on how you're doing. If you're doing it by click damage, it doesn't matter. You're going to end up with a separated enemy anyway. But the Crystal Sphere doesn't require any like Gaarawarr shenaniganry and whatnot. Foolish Genius, do you feel Belushi's buff is worth it when she isn't the tank? I don't know that it... I mean, it's okay. I haven't stacked up to like 14,000. to see, but we're already at EO6 and I only have 100, so it feels like it'd be pretty solid if you could get it up real high. I feel like it's going to be harder to get it up really high when she's not in her spirit form. Those percentage gains stack up real quick. So I don't know. I think people would have to try her out in some deep pushes as a support. I feel like the whole point, though, is for her to be, because she's multiplying things once she becomes a spirit based off how far she's gone. I feel like that's not the greatest option. It's just that originally she is going to be a support, so you're getting a nice little bonus. I mean, it's EO7 right now. That's not bad for a support that's going to become a tank at some point. Sure. But worth it, like, just to only ever use her as a support? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe. Zendruid, how would you flesh out an Ashara, Belushi, Nova, Alcoria centered formation? Ooh. I'll be honest, I don't use Alcoria a whole lot because my Tyrol has item levels that are real super high. Alcoria's catching up. At some point I'll do that. I mean, Alcoria just means you need magic users. And Ashari and Belushi are 2 right away. I mean, ultimately you're going to need to hit your bonds, right? So Ashara, Potpourri, you're going to need 2 more of whatever qualify for Potpourri. There's a variety that can do that. Belushi and Nova, if you're using both of those, I believe those both proc exotic, so you'd want one more exotic, like a Xeraphon, but Xeraphon and Belushi probably work together pretty well because they both want stacks. Like, you're both going to want to stack them up a lot. Same with Nova. Nova, Belushi, and Xeraphon would all need to be in right away. Then you would just flesh out the rest of your Potpourri bond, and then you'd try to make Alcoria work. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's really going to be based off what champions you have. And what I choose might be different than what you choose because my gear and items are going to be different than yours. Right? But yeah, I mean, you're still building the same kind of formation with Ashar. You're still targeting bonds. And then adding stuff in. I don't know. I feel like you're putting yourself in a really niche situation by trying to include Alcoria in that one. Maybe just using Ashara with exotics with Belushi and Nova is enough. I feel like people think they have to go all in and use Alcoria when they're using Ashara, and I don't believe that's always the case. How does Vi compare to Melf for speed gem farming? Who's better? Again, Vi's speed effect works differently than Melf's. It may not be a big deal in gem farming because of the way it works, because you're instantly killing. You're instantly getting new waves, and so Vi's not really functioning to reduce that. But now you may not need Melf anyway, because you may have a Deacon and a Whittle in already and already be functionally capped for speed from their speed effect. So Melf wouldn't really be doing anything to help you in the first place. I don't use her, but that's because I don't do normal gem farming anymore. So that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I don't do a gem farming that would use Melf or Vi currently. I mean, I could probably try Vi out. I might speed things up for me. Well, but I think that might work against me, actually. With automated Briv farming, that would probably work against me. What do you have else that's on the topic? Question: will Desmond get a stack of Lament the Lost when Dungeon Master comes in and does his Vanishing Act? No, because Uni is... Well, I'm going to say... we don't know exactly how this functions. I'm going to say no, because Uni isn't dead, and Uni isn't an NPC. So I'm going to say probably not. Probably not. Foolish Genius again. Am I correct in thinking Tatiana's speed effect works like Sentries, where it only counts if she's taking damage, so you put her further back? where it turns off if she's taking damage. Correct. So if you want Tatiana for her speed effect, you don't put her in the tank column, just like with Sentry. You don't want her getting hit. So yeah, you would, if you're trying to use, if you're trying to gain the benefit of Tatiana's, hi, I'm going to go out and grab a bunch of enemies. You do like I'm doing here, and you put her behind the tank. Behind the tank. Coming back to, well, hold on. So Lunchalot, would that mean I could kill the rest of the enemies on the screen with Vlanya, and the crystal that Vi drops would stay? The crystal should count as a normal enemy, because Vlanya will disappear 10 normal enemies. So basically on a boss level, that's everything except for the boss. So the crystal should disappear. Should. Yeah. Because it should still count as a normal enemy. Let's see. Wicked One, would you explain your preference for Vi over Penelope for pushing? I don't have that preference, so there's my explanation. Gold farming use makes sense to me, but I'm trying to figure out Vi and pushing. I don't use Vi and pushing. I use Vi in my speed formation to get me to the point where I put in a pushing formation. But I don't personally use Vi for pushing. So I'm not sure where that question came from. Foolish Genius, how many enemies does your Tatiana pull at once? I'm still stuck on a blue item for now. I'm at like 5 to 6. Now remember, I've got her at 138.8%, so she's pulling 5 to 6 additional enemies. Let me slot the feat and see if that triggers a change. Isn't that it? No, find a feast. Don't I have it? Oh, I don't have that one. Here we go. Let me go buy it. Having lots of gems helps, folks. That's find a feast. Did that change the number? 8 to 9 now. So yeah, so with the feat in, I can pull 8 to 9 at once. So the feat does some work. But yeah, I'm at a 98. Again, I try to make sure all of my champions are average item level 100 when they're full epic. So she's looking at around a 98 here. So, you know, if she were a little over 100, we'd probably be looking at like 9 to 10 pull. Foolish Genius, which of these 5 champions, just these 5 champions specifically, would you most like to hang out with? Desmond, because Pocket Brisket. Brisket. Yeah, Desmond, definitely. No offense to the other champions. I think they're all interesting in their own rights, but get me some Pocket Brisket. All right, I'm going to go back and do all the general questions. So if you think I ignored yours, I didn't. I was just trying to get through all the specific ones first. Moneysmith, do people use Azaka much outside of Azaka farming? Is she competitive as a primary DPS or when gold farming on your way to your wall? No, not currently. Not at all. She is a niche use champion to be a gold fountain when you Azaka farm with her. Servant Rider, I have a time gate ready and need slots 2, 3, 4, and 10 for Split the Party. Is there anyone I should prioritize? What slots are going to be given from the next event? So the next event, slot 6 is 1, because that's the Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master arrives in slot 6. We're also going to see Shaka and Kreidel. So Kreidel's going to be in 2. Shaka's is in 9. So that's not going to help. But that'll knock out the 2. So you just need 3, 4, and 10. In 3, I would shoot for Grama in a time gate. Grama's fantastic. Alternately, Omen is good for gold find, but Grama's going to be a great pusher champion for you. With her in her support spec, in her Circle of the Arctic spec. 4, you want Baloth. Baloth is amazing to help you push with, and also is gold find. 10, I tend to recommend Havilar usually because she does have a minor speed effect for gem farming. Alcoria, if you were in water, if you were mostly through Waterdeep, Dragon Heist, which I don't think you are with needing that many champions, I would say go unlock Alcoria, but you're probably not there. So Havilar or Yorvin, if you want like a DPS support option, Yorvin's neat, but Havilar's probably the more recommended one there. And you can do Havilar shenanigans, where she like freezes an enemy on the screen for Zaka farming. Flamebeard, when an achievement mentions a full formation, does it have to be a formation of 10 or will Sword Coast suffice? It's full based off the number in the campaign has. So you can do it in Sword Coast with 9 because that's a full formation. Anywhere else, 10. Yeah, it's just full formation based off whatever the campaign's formation is. Catherine the Pretty Great. I've been following your advice on buying gold chests to level up my heroes. Sometimes I will start with, say, 530 gold. Buy a chest, then have 400 gold. What? Huh? Am I anti-cursed or is something else happening? I don't understand what's... I don't even understand your... Sometimes I will start with, say, 530 gold, buy a chest, then have 400 gold. I don't know what that means. I'll be honest. I'm not sure what's happening. Based off that explanation. So, Catherine, the Pretty Great, if you could clarify, I would appreciate it. And then I will come back to that. Sir Lunchalot, will a potion of psychomorphic energy buff all nodes in a full epic core? No. No. There are certain nodes that the potion won't buff because they used to and it broke the game. So the devs have turned off a couple of the nodes. It turned off things like I may have turned off like health reduction. I'm not sure on that one. I think it turned off like the cost reduction for leveling up a champions. I'm pretty sure that one got turned off because when it was on, basically leveling up champions gave you gold because it went on the other side of 0. Which was an interesting bug. So yeah, there's a lot of them, and I think it even says it's most, maybe not. Did they update the tooltip? No, it says all Modron endpoint buffs. Yeah, they need to. If you want to put in a ticket, that's not accurate. It doesn't buff all of them. Doesn't buff all of them, but it's all of the damage boosty ones. It's going to buff. It doesn't necessarily buff some of the others. Okay, Catherine, pretty good. Clarification. I'll have 530 gold, say spend 500 bucks. Oh, gems. I will have 530 gems saved, spend 500 gems to buy a gold chest, and have more gems afterward than simple math would explain. And it's not just a few gems that might be explained by... That sounds like something weird's going on with your gems. Yeah, that sounds like some weird gem thing. Okay, I got confused because it was gold, and I was like, we don't buy anything with gold. Like, there's this gold, but that's not what we buy on chests, so... yeah, you got something weird going on. It's probably a visual issue. You probably have more gems than it shows. I'd say that's probably the thing. No, the fragile... She's not getting gems from opening a gold chest. That's only from Electrum chests, and it wouldn't be that many. So yeah, and you don't buy Electrum chests with gems, so that's not what's going on. It sounds like there's some kind of visual bug. I would report it because I think what's happening is you probably have more gems than it shows. And so it's updating after you make a purchase. But yeah, I see why that's confusing. Inept, the first team I've gotten is Rivals of Waterdeep, but it's felt disappointing. They're not all in the game yet. Can you run through the specializations I've been thinking of? Not off the top of my head, but... Here's the thing: they're not all in the game yet, so there's not a full formation that can be built. So like we've got Celise, Gazric, Gosrick, excuse me, Dahani and Shaka. So let's see, where's Dahani? Shaka. Let's throw some things on here. Oh, and Gosrick. Gosrick. So when you don't have a full affiliation, these are affiliations specifically. When you don't have a full affiliation in the game yet, it's hard for them to feel super amazing when they're all together. And honestly, not all affiliations feel great together. It's just a theme thing, right? Like you can run that party if you want. So Celise functions as a tank. Her specs are tank specs, and it's really, these aren't about the team. This is about using her specifically. So it's very situational. You need to read these and figure out what you're facing to see what's going on. I'm just going to pick a couple here. With Shaka, honestly, you should really just be going Sunday edition. If you got bad slots, you just need to redo the run, quite frankly. For Gosrick, I mean, what are you doing? Do you want gold? Do you want just more of the debuff when he makes it snow, or are you really putting him in for that armor ablation? If you're fighting lots of armored enemies, you would go aim around armor. Shaka, again, this has nothing to do with the team. This is what you want. I like disintegrating wall, quite frankly, just for the chance to just nuke things as they walk in. But if I'm on an area where, if I'm fighting stuff that spawns right here, this doesn't do anything, so then I'd want to choose the other one, right? So all of the specializations are pretty much just about using the champion. They don't have anything to do with working together as a team. This one you kind of just want to go Stroke of Green. That's the AoE. So none of right now the rivals don't have anything that, they don't have like a synergy effect. They don't have like a certain specs that you would want to use them in to make them better with each of the rivals. You just have to read them like champions and use them like any other champions. If you're not finding that they're working together as a team, they don't have anything that's, like, off the top of my head, there's nothing about them that would make them not work together as a team. They don't fight against themselves in any way. Like Rosie fights against the rest of the C team, but the rivals of Waterdeep all work together just fine. It's just they all aren't here yet, and there may be some kind of synergy that comes with another champion. Like Alindra is who delivers the synergy effect for Heroes of the Plains, for instance. So yeah. So I think it's just that you're like, well, they're not like, they don't get super OP when I put them all together. Well, man, no group does. They're just, it's a thematic group that you can use together if you want. They'll make sometimes they'll have synergies that make themselves a little stronger when used together, but it's not like, hey, here's the OP organization and you have to set them up a specific way. Nope. Star Chaser 43, what do you think was the greatest quality of life improvement the devs added to the game? Oh, I got it. There's only one. There can't be a bigger quality. I'm going on record now, folks. Clip it. Clip it. There can only be one great quality of life improvement that was added to this game. There can be nothing bigger ever than when the devs made it so that we could buy more than one gold chest at a time. When this game came out, if you wanted to buy a gold chest, you literally had to go to the gold chest thing, click on one gold chest, buy a gold chest. It had to go through the animation, and then you had to click off and click on it again and buy another single gold chest. You bought gold chests one at a time. Now I'm going to buy 100. Now I can buy 100 at once. Yeah. That's it. That's the single greatest quality of life improvement that ever came to Idle Champions. Thanks for watching this clip. Nobody's going to clip that, but that's it. That's it. Nothing gets bigger than buying gold chests. I know there have been lots of other things I'm seeing some people put in. Opening multiple bounty contracts at a time. Don't care. Don't care. Buying one gold chest at a time was the worst thing. The worst. And I'm so glad it's gone. Newells, is there an easy way to get 30 plus stacks for Krull for Azaka farming? Seem to only get 20, and I have all of his feats. Easy is... I want to say yes, because to me it seems easy, but it may not to others. What it comes down to is when you... depending on how you're... This functions in different ways. It depends on if you're pushing with click damage or if you're pushing with champions. If you have a champion push formation, when you get to the boss where you want to stack up Krull stacks and Azaka farm, what you do is, as the boss loads in, you pull your DPS out. You pull the DPS champion out. That way you're not killing anything. You're not even attempting to kill anything. You're turning all the ultimates off. You're removing all the clickers. You can whatever, but you're not attempting to kill anything. You're just letting the tank hold the enemies while Krull slowly builds up stacks. Slowly builds up stacks. Once you know that you have all of the like once you think you've got 10 pilfer stacks on every champion or on every enemy, then you put your DPS back in and you blow it all up. That gives you the best chance to get 30 or 40 stacks. Because you're making sure that every enemy is going to have that 30% proc chance to pass with Virulent Strain, to pass something off to somebody else. And if it doesn't, I did this last night. I told everybody I was pushing deep last night. I said, once I'm done pushing deep, I'm gonna Azaka farm. For those who were following along, I ended up getting just past 1300 last night. And I Azaka farmed with a 40 stack Krull. Because if I'm pushing past 1300, you better believe I'm building in a 30 stack Krull. And my Lathander's favor is now E62. I was like E51 when I started that run, folks. So 40 stacks are a big deal. So yeah, that's what I did. I just over and over, rinse and repeat. If it wasn't 40 stacks, I just restarted the boss level. I did the same thing again. If you're using click damage, like if you're using click debuff to push, then what you do is you take all your familiars off the field. You can still have them on the ultimates, but you take all the familiars off the field, and that lets the enemies build up. And it lets the Krull stacks get everywhere. And then when you think they're everywhere, and you can use shenaniganry to try to keep, if you're dying too fast, you can use things like in my click debuff, I've got Warden in, and he's got his magnet that moves everybody back, and then I've got Gromma in, and so I can move everybody back, and I can wall them. And then and then I've got Penelope and Talon slowing everybody. And by the time they get back up to me, I've got the magnet and the wall back, and I can keep them somewhat away from damaging my party for a long time. So under that, then when I'm ready, then I click on not the boss. I click on a regular NPC because I want to proc Traitor off that regular enemy onto the boss and blow up the boss and everybody else. And if I get 40 stacks, I get 40 stacks. If I don't, I redo it again. But yeah, it's about removing the damage so that Krull has time to build pilfer up on all the enemies. Then you have the highest possible chance of getting 40 stacks. This'll do. How split party work? It's worthy. Split the party is worthy. Split the party is challenging. I can't explain split the party in 15 minutes. But you're in luck. I've got a guide for that. Gaarawarr's Guide to Split the Party is on the subreddit, and I literally walk you through it step by step. So if you go to the link I just put in chat, that's the list of my 115 guides for the game now. That's too many. It's in there, and it's a pretty elaborate walkthrough if you want your handheld the whole time. But basically, what happens is, once you put a champion in, you can't remove them. But every certain number of levels, the game is going to remove a champion at random. It's going to move multiple at random based off how many total you have in. So you're losing champions as you progress. You can direct that, but again, I explain how to do that in the guide. But you don't have to go super far in the adventure. So, but you only have to go to 50. But you don't get any favor. So you're very not powerful. So things like the epic clairvoyance potions can help, and potions. But basically, you need to go in with a strategy. You need to understand what's going on. My guide will help you with that. If you qualify for split the party, you can do it 100%, because it can be done 100% with your core champions only. Having extra champions only makes it easier. So keep that in mind. If you can qualify for it, you can do it. I believe in you. The guide will help. Smuggle Beer, hey Gaarawarr, yesterday Mars got asked if patron variants counts towards complete X number of adventures or variants. No, they don't. For my test, I haven't been able to see this working. Do you know if he's correct? If he said they do, he's wrong. Yeah, they don't. It's a confusing thing. Some people think that they might, some people think that they don't, but they don't. When it says you need to complete X adventures or variants in a campaign to do something like to unlock an evergreen, it's talking about the basic adventures and variants. It's not counting the patron versions. Because those qualifications were put in place before patrons existed. And lately we're not even seeing, if you notice on the newest evergreens, we're not even seeing that kind of restriction put in place. Once you unlock that variant, you can just go do it. Threads of Fate. Does the Mimic lose the gold bonus if you switch out Jim? I don't think so, but here's the thing. It's just a 10x gold bonus, so it's like 1 order of magnitude. So it wouldn't even be a big deal if it did. But to my understanding, it kept it. People don't really use that. People don't really use that method of Azaka farming anymore. It's too hard to keep the Mimic alive now. As you'll note, hey, I've got a Crystal Sphere back, folks. See, Crystal Spheres are much more easier to separate. It used to use mimics, and the videos about Azaka farming that I've done for this channel are a long time ago, and they have mimics in them. But that was because you could turn something into a mimic, and then when you blew up the stack of enemies, the mimic had a high chance to stay alive, and it doesn't anymore. The trader procs off Krull's just delete it. Off Krull's trader, they just delete the mimic. Fearless Genius, what percentage of Zerial variants do you need to max or blessings currently? High percent? Whatever this is. 98? Yeah, in the high 9, over 95 probably. Probably over 95. It's hard to say because actually I don't know that you can do it that way. Because if you start it, well, no, yeah, high. Over 90s, probably. You need to do almost all of them because she's the hardest patron in the game, and there's a lot of them. Although, see, Kostas is saying I unlocked all Zerial's perks with just 75 variants completed. I find that... Well, yeah, here's the thing. So there's so many... This is why looking at percentage doesn't matter. Because you have to find... It's about how much influence you need and where can you get that influence. For me, it was high because I had done all of them by the time that came out. But you do need a lot. But the early on ones are worth so little that it doesn't matter. When the current highest tiers were released, here's the thing. When the current tier 7 was released, you needed almost all of them. But higher level variants, lots of higher level variants have been released since then. So now you don't. Now you can do it with a lot less. But yeah. So I don't know. Don't even, I wouldn't look at it that way. It's just, here's the thing. If you can do, I don't know. Patrons, yeah. The perks are more about where can you get the most influence fastest. But sometimes that requires having lots of power, and yeah. I feel like that's just not the way to ask the question, ultimately. For me, it's high. For most people, if you're just going to do them in order and you're doing them as things come along, it's going to be a high number. If you're trying to just do it with the fewest number of possible, there's a whole other way to do that, and you need a lot of power from places to finish a lot of the things that they want, so yeah. But yeah, when they first launched Tier 7, I had almost all of them, and that's what it took. It took me hunting down some more to finish it off. But if I had just decided not to do all of the low-level ones, that would have given me the number. But why would I want to do that? I don't know. I don't know. Amos Guy, you mentioned a bit ago that you try to get your champions to level 100 when full epic. Well, average item level 100, yes. Do you generally try to keep all your champs balanced? Do you push the ones you like to a higher level? I keep a minimum floor, Amos Guy. So my minimum floor for average item level is 100 currently. So if I pop a small blacksmithing contract, what you'll see is like the lowest numbers are just a bit over 100. Like here's 104. Where's like Krynel's 109? Where's Gosrick? Oh, he actually hit 112. Oh, not bad. So yeah, I mean, it's around 100 right now with the number of gold chests I open each event. Each champion's guaranteed to be full epic and over 100 item levels. But in the past, I would use blacksmithing contracts to get the floor up to 104. Now, or to get up to floor up to 100. Now my floor, I really need to go through and get everybody up to 110. I think that's probably a doable number. And then it'll become 120. Like I slowly and consistently use blacksmithing contracts to raise my average item level floor to give all of my champions more power. So when I hop into variants, I'm always using champions at their best, at the best potential I can get them to. Bubster, I have Briv and Calliope in slot 5. Who should I get for my next time gate? Briv and Calliope. Wow. Keelik, probably. That's a tough slot. Keelik, Viconia is fun. If you just want to have fun, Viconia's Animate Dead is really fun. Keelik's solid. Catherine the Pretty Great, thank you kindly for your noob-friendly resources. You're valuable. You're welcome. Yeah, all my stuff is aimed primarily for, hey, it's the first time you're running into this, so either new player or new to the system. Devil Crayon, is there a hotkey or modified click to recall all familiars? Yes, there is. So if I place a bunch of familiars out here, if you'll notice, when I do this, the places I can place familiars light up white, but then this lights up red. What does that mean? It means when I click on it, all the familiars go away forever. They've gone to the familiar grave. No, they're just all back in their storage. They're all back in their storage. Muffin, would it be possible to show on the map where I get Belushi? Yeah. So this is Wild Beyond the Witchlight. If we come over here to Prismeer, and we go right up here, the Fairy Rings of Thither has the variant Bully for You. It's the second one. So you want to go to Wild Beyond the Witchlight, you get to the Fairy Rings of Thither, and you do Bully for You. Because we are in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign, these all show as difficulty fair, because a fair is another name for a carnival. All right. I'm not joking. That's serious. But it is, you got to complete area 600. And you have to run. It's challenging. You have to know what's going on. But I thought it was a lot of fun. Once I understood everything that was going on, I thought it was a lot of fun. Honda Hero, if I have all the champions and have done all their variants, nice. Can I get anything else from time gates between the 1 silver chest per unique 100 levels? I mean, you get gold chests for the 3 things, but yeah, no, it's just the silver chests. And it's not one, like there's some bonuses that'll give you more, but yeah, it's just silver chests and gold chests at that point. If you've done all the variants, so you have all their achievements, you're just going to get gear. So you would want to work on getting full epic on all the champions with your time gate pieces. If you've got full epic, then like me, you can stop using time gate pieces forever. Unless you just really love time gates and want to do them for one champion or something. But I've just stopped. Why is the Jimothy method called that? I get the gem part, but what is the Uthi? You and me both. Don't use it. Don't know why they did that. They call the people that use it and came up with it call it that. I don't know. I'm caught up in my questions. Thank you guys for all the questions. And thank you, Jordan, for picking up all the questions. Question number 2 from Devil Crayon. Whomst would you recommend for my second slot tension? Yeah, Havilar. I think I said that earlier for somebody. Havilar is generally my recommendation for the second. Unless you're at the point where you can just go unlock Olcoria. And then she's free, right? Enrico Suave. Appreciate that. Are the event achievements only unlocked during the event period? No. Sorry, this seems like a simple question, but I've never focused on achievement. No, there is, with one exception. These numbered ones can only be done during an event. But these numbered ones aren't attached to any champion. This one may have Melf's name in it, but it doesn't have the requirement of being done with Melf or in a Melf free play. This is specifically just for the event. So any green grass Endless War free play, as long as you get to 275, you'll unlock all of these achievements. These numbered ones can't be done outside of the event. Everything else can be done somewhere else. It might take a time gate to do some of them, but everything else can be done somewhere else. I think that's it. I think that's so. Somebody says, GD Hecka, lesson in classes for Zera is like 1/3 for total influence needed for all perks. Sure, but lesson in classes is a difficult variant. And if you went into that with no influence for Zerial, that would probably mean you'd have to have influence, like maxed perks for all other, potentially maxed perks for all other patrons to be able to do lesson in classes Ariel. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could do it with less, but lesson in classes is difficult in the first place. So yeah, I just don't see that being a thing. I don't know. I mean, you could grab a couple before that, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's really how people... Here's the thing. When you unlock patrons... I'm going to say this real quick because we got to get out of here. When you unlock patrons, you're looking for easy variants just to grab some influence so that you can unlock your time gate pieces. That's your first goal. And then buy your Modron chest. That's your second goal. And honestly, if you just want to cruise on those things for a while, that's great. Because you kind of want to wait until you complete Baldur's Gate to do like a couple really easy variants there that'll get you into tier 6. Just doing like 2 variants there will get you enough influence to get you through like tier 5 completed and get you into tier 6. And then if you just didn't want to do anything until a lesson in classes and somehow you could beat a lesson in classes on all your patrons, then yeah, that'd probably do it. But man, that's playing the game on I'm not gonna lie, that's playing the game a bit on hard mode. Go for it if that's your thing. Vovkus, I have already talked about this, but I'll do it again as we close. Does Visphere stack with Azaka farming yet or not? You can use it in Azaka farming. Her gold find bonus does not apply, but you use it to separate out a mob to more easily leave one enemy behind, and in that regard, it's fantastic. That's it, folks. We're gonna head out. Thanks for hanging out on this Saturday. If you want to hang out some more, if you're looking to hang out and watch some games later, you can come over to my channel, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr. I'll be playing some video games on the stream, probably for like 4 hours or so for a while. So hang out with me later today. You can follow my channel to see when I pop on and to see my schedule. We're going to head out with the Cobalt song. Enjoy.
Kobolds are really tough. Kobolds will steal your stuff. Kobolds we like to sing. Kobolds will take your things. Kobolds live underground. Kobolds we run around. Kobolds we like the dark. Kobolds don't need no art. We may be small, we may be last, but we are many and we're coming fast. So hide all your gold and pack up your tools. We'll stomp on your toes and steal all your jewels. Kobolds covered in scales. Kobolds we have have cool tails. Kobolds, we're not that short. Kobolds, we're in your port. Kobolds come from dragons. Kobolds train your flagons. Kobolds deserve the praise. Kobolds are really brave. We may be small, we may be last, but we are many and we're coming fast. So hide all your gold and pack up your tools. We'll stomp on your toes and steal all your jewels. Shiny rocks and bits of string, skulls and bones and slimy things, hunting treasure, lots of fun. Kobolds, take your stuff and run. Kobolds, we like the best. Kobolds, smarter than the rest. Kobolds, hide in your group tree. Kobolds, stack tall as you. We may be small, we may be last, but we are many and we're coming fast. So hide all your gold and pack up your tools. We'll stomp on your toes and steal all your jewels. Kobolds, we fight it hurt. Kobolds, we forget words. Kobolds are super fun. Kobolds are not